but I knew all their numbers off by heart because
Yeah.
when a game would come out or something that I'd be looking for, it'd be like, all right, it's like get home from school, time to call all the stores.
Yeah, no, totally. And like immediately, as soon as you get through, you'd know immediately, like, send me to the entertainment
Yeah,
department, whatever.
yeah.
I
Or like
remember
what
like,
extension to get, like
yeah,
electronics or whatever.
yep. I remember like that's how I learned to calculate tax as a kid. Because it'd be like, okay, it's
Yeah.
$70, but what's 15% HST? And like that's that's what motivated me to learn math about how to calculate tax. Because you'd go there with your piggy bank
Pennies.
essentially. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Yeah. Uh,
Similarly, video games are how I know what words like haste or
mhm.
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but haste is always one of like I know what that word means because of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like that is why I know what that word means when I
Yeah.
was like 10 years old or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
but yeah, I don't know if you had any other major games. I remember I had that James Bond one because we were on the hype of GoldenEye. Like, oh, James Bond uh, on Game Boy. I was like, this game sucks.
oh, like, and that is a port of like an
Yeah,
N64
that
game,
was
and like it wasn't even. I mean, of course, it's not a first-person shooter or Game
no.
Boy. Like it was like a side scroller, like Mario clone, kind of
Yeah,
thing or something.
yeah. It
Um,
was definitely like I think it was like maybe top down, but yeah, it was just like it probably is like not that bad. But I went from GoldenEye, and they were clearly like capitalizing on the hype of GoldenEye
yeah,
to
yeah,
make this
yeah,
game, and just so it was like okay, like that might have been my first like you said Game Boy port like expectations. I know where to set them when they put something on a handheld that was you know built off of the hype of a console game or something. We've always like leaned towards PlayStation, and arguably the reason for that is because of when we got into like when we got a well you got a PlayStation 1.
yeah.
We did play it at our cousin Jacques that we mentioned a few times last week, um, that he had one, and we'll talk about it after. But I distinctly remember playing Final Fantasy VII there and
Yeah,
Tekken 2,
yeah,
as far as PlayStation games go.
yeah,
And trust me, we will talk about that
yeah,
because I
yeah.
have some
Both of which
notes.
are staples in
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, that's so true. Those
yeah, yeah,
those are like the first games we were probably introduced as PlayStation games,
yeah.
and like to this day, like try and stop me from playing the new Tekken or Final Fantasy.
Oh, and a comment is like, oh man, do I play some Tekken this weekend? And it's like a constant, like, oh yeah, we know exactly who's each other's gonna pick.
Yeah.
Uh, you know.
Yeah. Oh man, that's
Anyway,
so
so
cool. I didn't even put that together in my head. I don't think we would have known what it was if it wasn't for our cousin that
no,
showed it.
no,
Like we would
no,
have
of
no
course not.
idea.
Yeah, yeah,
So the one that escapes this sort of black hole of never getting the game played because we played
okay,
the demo so much. Uh, I don't know if it was our disc or someone else's or something, but we
mhm.
for sure played a demo of Metal Gear Solid, like a
Oh
lot.
yeah, oh that we play. Yeah, okay,
I think it was that whole first section until you get in the building, or maybe even a little when you meet like the DARPA chief or
I
something.
I think you met the DARPA chief. You met Meryl. It's yeah,
I
it was
can't
a
remember.
pretty extensive demo. Oh man, we played the crap out of that demo, and
Yeah,
it's so like the credits are going on while you first are. Oh,
it was
that was
a
that
good
was a
demo.
demo. Yeah, like
That
But anyways, so that I remember. I remember rent. I remember renting Brave Fencer Musashi, and
not
being
touching it at
so
all.
or well no the first time we rented it it didn't have the demo disc with it um and it was
Oh.
like this is the whole reason like calling up Jumbo Video or whatever and like the whole reason I rented this game was for the demo disc for FF8 and like the
They don't know.
14-year old is like what the hell are you talking about and then like so we played the game which was whatever but then I remember we went
Which
somewhere.
I'm sure I remember it looked cool, and I'm sure it's a good game. but it did not have a chance to
It's not what we
withstand
wanted.
our disappointment.
And I remember calling, you know, different place and was like, "Look, I'm gonna rent this game, but you need to promise me that the Final Fantasy 8, it's like you're wondering with the demo disc." And they're like, "Yeah, man, we just like take the plastic off the game and put it on the shelf. Like, you'll get the full thing." Like, okay, and then we can finally play it. And mind blown. That
They have done that. They, if you bought, what was it, FF Type Zero HD, which was like a PS4 port of a PSP game,
okay.
you got a FF15 exclusive demo.
Oh man.
And I was
So
like, I bought that game. I maybe played it for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, and I put like 20 hours into that demo.
Final Fantasy 7.
Which, by the way, I'll mention it now because
yeah,
I'll forget later. One funny note I remember about playing that at his place is we had no memory card.
Oh no, sorry, no, we did. But here was the thing. Yeah,
I remember this.
He did have a memory card, but there were 3 slots.
Yep.
Like every Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, because to our knowledge, on like FF6 on the SNES and Chrono Trigger and everything, it was always 3 save slots. Yep.
And so there were 3 slots taken up by Jacques, and so we said, "Oh man, we can't save."
Because we didn't know because I don't think he was there that time. Yeah, because he would have told us.
Like, it was like we went to Jacques, and he was like, "Look, I have to work tonight. So you guys come over, just like literally, I'll have FF7 set up for you. Just play, and I'll get home at 10, and I'll see you guys then." And we like, "Oh man, he's gonna let us play Final Fantasy 7. We're so excited!"
Like all night.
And then it was like, "Oh man, there's no save slot. So don't die."
Yeah, because we didn't know like what we could overwrite because he was gone.
Yeah, exactly. And he was at work and before cell phones or anything. So it was like, oh man, so like don't die. Like not even like get to a boss and like if you die, then it's all over. Like hard mode of a game.
And it's not like we were seasoned veterans.
It's our first time playing.
Right? Yeah. Like we had played turn-based combat games, but first time in any individual like Final Fantasy or just RPG in general, like you don't know all the ins and outs of the mechanics yet or whatever.
We were still new to the whole genre. And then I feel like it was right before the Pillar with like Reno or whatever, where I was just like, I'm just gonna check, and it was like dink dink, and then scrolls like down to
9 more slots.
Yeah, and it was like, oh my god, like wipe the sweat off our brows from the past couple of hours.
I forgot. I forgot about
so close to death and being like, oh no, we're like 3 hours in.
You having it.
I remember like us watching the end of Final Fantasy 7, like the crazy long at the time, FMV for the ending in my room on that 13-inch TV. And Mom and Clarence were away from whatever reason, but Grandma was like babysitting us, and she was like, "You guys have to go to bed." And we were like 5 minutes in. It's like, "Grandma, we just beat Final Fantasy 7. Like, it's the like longest FMV in history." And then her being like, "I don't know what any of this means. Like, shut up. You have to go to bed."
I don't remember that.
And then, so we're like, can Garrett at least sleep in my room?
Oh my god.
And then she's like, fine, if you guys will just go to bed. So I remember being like, and you were like losing your mind. But I was like, I kind of gave you a look of like, I got this. It's like, okay, Grandma, I'll turn off the game.
I was mad that I couldn't stay and watch or whatever.
No. She said that you could, but you were just like, how the crap are you gonna let her turn off this game right now? Like we're watching the ending. Like this is the worst thing in history if we have to turn this off right now. And I was like, I got this. And then so Grandma was like, okay, get a sleeping bag, set up whatever, and so you were on the floor, and then I was in bed, and then she's like, good night, turns off the lights. She says, turn off the TV. Okay, so I turned off the TV. Okay, Grandma, you good? And then she left. and then I knew turning off the TV wouldn't turn off the game, so we missed like 10 seconds of the ending. But we turned it back on and the volume kind of low and just watched like the end of Final Fantasy 7 at volume like 1.
Oh my god, I don't remember that at all.
In secret, because grandma was like, you guys have to go to bed, you have school tomorrow, whatever. And yeah, Tekken Ball mode. And then that's the hit. Oh,
What
man,
was it? A Tekken Force? Is that what the
Yep.
the beat 'em up style was?
Which was really fun and hard.
Yeah, I don't think I never beat it. I never finished it
because you had to beat it like 3 times, and then on the 4th time you'd fight Dr. B, and if you beat him, then he was a playable character.
Because we definitely had Dr. B, because that was Mike's favorite.
If I could go back in time, I would not have beaten it. I would say I'd rather a big question mark than give Mike the ability to play as Dr. B for the rest of our life. Anyways, Dr. B was the downfall of Mike and normal characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
This.
So there's a materia in it called Added Cut. Mm-hmm. And like that materia did not exist in our disc.
Really?
Because I mean, it probably did, but you know, I'm being hyperbolic. But I wouldn't be surprised if it just was a glitch in our disc, because the thing that made it hard is like it was in the snowy area.
Okay.
Where you have like the limited amount of time before you pass out.
Oh yeah.
And we had that like Brady Games guide or whatever.
Okay. Now I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, we searched and it was just like, nope. Yeah,
like,
I remember it.
It feels like years that I was like, okay, I'm finding it this time. Like this has to exist.
Yeah.
And I, you know, and that was when it was in your room. And I remember going through that. Yeah. And I'd look at screenshots on that guide. I'm like, and I feel like it's in one of like the random areas or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's
go up, left, right, whatever.
And it's just mashing X or whatever. And like, no, it does not exist. Never found it. I never found it in our copy of the game.
But in subsequent runs, you found it. Yeah.
So I had picked up like the PC port a while back, and then I picked it up on PS4 because of course I'll buy that game like 6 times. And so there was one point on Steam I was going for all the achievements, and it has more achievements on that version than trophies on PlayStation.
Okay.
Because like I think one of them is like learn every enemy skill, and I don't think that's a trophy on the PS4 port.
Oh, man, that's a hard one.
Yeah, because there's some you miss. I think there's a couple that you can just miss. So I had to have like a guide open or whatever. I did it. I got all the achievements on the Steam version at some point. But so I can't remember if I had to go through this on the PS4 version, but I for sure on the Steam version, one of the trophies is like master every materia.
Yeah.
Which is like, I got magic pots. I'm good. I can do that. No problem.
Yeah. But it means you got to find this materia that doesn't exist as far as we know.
Yeah. So when I got to that area, I was like, oh shit. Like, am I going to be able to find, like, how do I get this materia? And I got it. And I was just like, it was just like this, like, wave of like an
accomplishment from childhood.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, I can finally see what it does. Even though I knew what it did, but I never saw it in action. Where did we get our friggin' Tekken controller grip?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
I actually didn't really remember that you hold it the same way I do.
Yeah. So for anyone listening, if you're not watching, I literally got a controller so I can show this.
Yeah.
Oh wait, if a listener, they can't see it. I'm gonna tell it and I'll explain it to listeners.
Yeah.
So we rest the controller like the right handle on our like lap, on our on our leg, and I use my index and middle fingers to hit all 4 buttons, like almost like as if it was an arcade stick, and then we just use the D-pad or whatever. But it like we don't hold it in our hand. It's resting on our leg, holding it with the left hand, and just tapping the buttons with our index and middle fingers. And that's how we have always played Tekken.
And it's weird because our left-handed grip it's not a weird version of that either. It's a normal
Yeah,
grip on the left.
just holding the
Um,
D-pad normally. Yeah.
yeah, like just thumbs only for the D-pad, and then yeah, as Garrett described for the right hand. And yeah, I forgot that you do this as
Oh
well.
yeah,
And it makes like
always.
in newer versions of the game where you have to hit like R1 or anything. I have to completely kind of reach around the whole
So
thing.
for Tekken 7, because I think it's like the Rage Art or whatever,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
normally I put it to L1.
Oh, I should do that. Yeah,
So I
that's a
can
good call.
because I'm there's no way I'm hitting it, with my right hand. That extra reach.
Does Mike play it normally?
I think so. I don't think he does the grip.
Yeah, okay.
Normally is an
Sorry,
interesting
yeah.
word.
Yeah. So in this case, the weird thing is holding it normally. So Mike
Yeah.
probably needs it that way.
And our cousin Mike has like the weirdest character. So it's the weirdest character picks is probably the biggest
Yeah.
anomaly of this whole thing.
That's the biggest Mike-ism is just like, who's the weirdest character in this game?
Yeah.
So and so? Well, guess who Mike's favorite character is?
Yeah. And he'll like when you get later to like Tekken Tag and you can like buy costumes for your character and stuff, he'll just pick like the weirdest combination of things to like I think his goal is to make you uncomfortable looking at the costume.
Or even like I remember, oh, this is so Mike. Be like, oh, who's your favorite character in Tekken 3? And Mike's is
Mokujin.
Mokujin. And it's like, come on. Like,
'Cause-
Mike, that's not a real answer. Like, who's your actual favorite? No, Mokujin is my
Yeah.
favorite character.
Mokujin is his quote, old reliable. Is what he calls it. So
My
anyone that
RNG character is all reliable.
yeah. There was one night he was just like destroying me. Like it was just not my night and he was just I was being brutally beaten. And
Yeah.
he's like, because we're on voice chat, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh, this recipe for pumpkin pie looks pretty good. And I'm just like, Mike, if you're gonna destroy me at this game, at least pretend like you're trying or paying attention. I was so
You
mad.
remember? Yeah, no. I remember same thing. Bad night against Mike or whatever, and he's beating you. And then Mokujin, his winning stance was just like to the screen, and Mike would do it.
He would do it, yeah.
with the controller. I'm like,
He would
God
sit there on the
damn
couch and do the little movements with them. Just like, God
It's so
damn it,
happy.
Mike.
Yeah, like take this seriously. If you're gonna beat me, you better be serious about
Yeah.
it. With every Tekken game. Like,
Yeah.
um,
I lost June in Tekken 3, but Jin had sort of like Kazuya plus June moveset. And it's like I
Yeah.
could play him a lot. And he was a lot more like June then than he became. But
yeah,
then
yeah.
when they added Asuka, she's way more like June. And
Yeah.
so I'll play her, and if when I play tag, I'll play June. And then in 7, I would play a lot of Asuka. And then in the Tekken 8 trailer, June was there, so I get my girl back.
It's funny, like for me, if you play anyone in the Kazama
Yeah, you hate it.
family, I'm just like, God damn, it's like, oh, who's this? Like, who's this character? She seems cool. Oh, so and so Kazama. Oh crap! Like, Garrett's gonna be phenomenal with them, and it's gonna be in a really annoying way.
Yeah.
Whereas, like for me, what's your side of that?
Paul. Yeah, I'm terrified of when you break out Paul. Paul and not Lei. Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name? The Bruce Lee clone. Law.
Oh, Law.
Law.
Yeah.
I knew it was not Lei, but Law.
Yeah.
You used to be really good with. I mean, you maybe still are. I just don't remember the last time we played. You used to be scary with your king because you had all the throw. You had the throw combos down.
Yeah. And so,
Whereas 2 we had for a while.
So we were playing it, and it may have even been no, it wasn't a demo version of it. It was the full version, like playing it at Dad's with.
Oh,
Patrick.
it was the full version.
Yeah.
The director's cut.
The director's cut. And our stepbrother Patrick was volatile.
Yeah, he had a temper.
He had a temper, and we were playing, and something just scared the living crap out of him. Dogs or crows coming
Oh
through the
yeah,
window.
any of the
So
staple Resident Evil scares.
yeah, and so Patrick, terrified, angry, terrified. That's it. Hits open disc, yanks it out of there, still spinning, opens the window and throws the disc out the window as far as he could. And it was just like we're both just like, what just happened? And then him f bombs, just like, nope. It's like that's it. This is done. I hate that disc. It's done. What are we doing next? You just threw a full-on PlayStation
and
out the window.
And at Dad's house, he lived in like a duplex in the city, so it's
Yeah.
not like we were out in the country. It's
Yeah.
like that was probably the neighbor found that in their yard. Did it, and I remember thinking like, man, I would have to beat this before he gets back from fiddle practice, and I would like try it a couple times, and
Yeah.
I'm like, an hour and a half in, and I'm like, just I'm like
barely in
barely
a police station,
right,
or something. Yeah,
exactly. I'm like, what the hell? How do you beat this game so fast? And I just remember I had like that was like my measure of time to like that's how fast I had to beat it to get this challenge. Is I would have to start when you go for fiddle lessons and finish before you get back. I don't. It's such a
Amazing.
weird. I don't know why, but I
Metric,
remember.
unit of time.
Yeah, yeah. One fiddle lesson worth of Resident Evil 2.
Oh man, I remember like the music was awesome. But anyway, classic.
So,
do you?
okay, maybe we're about to say the same thing.
You tell it, and if it's because if it is the same thing, you should get the the rights on this one. So
we would play this game for a long time, get pretty far.
Yeah.
We'd get to disc 2.
Yep.
And there would be some cutscene pretty early on that second disc.
Yep.
Nothing would happen.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And
I think it just went to like black screen. I don't think it like errored out or crashed. It just hung at a black screen or something.
Yep. Music still playing.
Right. And you'd hear the disc
just
like
trying,
yeah.
clicking, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was not scratched. Like it was
brand new.
Yeah. And
do you remember what we tried to get it to work?
No. Did we like try to set like a disc cleaning service at Jumbo Video, whatever?
We did try that, yeah. Even though
work.
we were convinced that like there's no way it wasn't scratched, like we didn't understand it.
Yeah,
we're like, we'll try anything.
Something else comes to mind, but anyway, you go first.
So we definitely tried turning the PlayStation upside down.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no, that's a classic one. Yeah.
We also tried just balancing it on its side. Because we thought that might work.
Yeah.
Or maybe we like heard that might help or something.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we tried like opening and closing the lid as the cutscene would start or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was any individual one thing we tried that it worked. But one time it just happened to like go forward.
Yeah. So I think we also tried like trying to like trick it to like throw the first disc in there and maybe it'll load something.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Move along. No, that didn't work. No,
of course that wouldn't work.
Like no, of course not. Like what's
we're
it gonna,
so dumb.
That's so dumb. It's just like it's just the music. It's trying to load. Anyway, no, it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But no, this is literally what happened. I'm surprised you don't remember this.
No. I think the memory of it finally working has scrubbed out any other, tribulations we had with it.
So I wrote to Squaresoft saying, look, I'm playing this game. There's no scratch on it. It's X scene where Faye, whatever, and it just hangs, and I hear the PlayStation clicking, like like dear
handwritten.
Yeah. Found their address somehow and like sent this letter.
Did they send us another disc?
like months later, no reply, no reply, no reply, and then I'm just like, why isn't Squaresoft answering my letter? And so I was like, screw this. I took disc 2 and sent it to them with another handwritten letter. Dear Squaresoft, you may have received my first letter. Um, but if you remember, I'm Matthew Zamora from
Listen,
the
I
Red
play a lot of Final Fantasy games. Okay,
I,
you got a customer here.
I get to the point where Faye is whatever, and there's a huge lore dump, and da 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 da. Please fix my disc, and sent it off, and then months later, we just get a full-on like jewel case, 2 discs, new game, like not just a
Wow, I don't
not
remember this.
not just like disc 2. It was just like, just send this kid grab one off the shelf and send it to him, and then put it in, and then it went through fine, and we had 2 jewel cases, but only 2 disc 1s, and only 1 functional.
Oh my god, I have. I don't know if I still have it. I may have gotten rid of it. I had for a long time a Xenogears case, and it only had disc 1 in it.
Oh, there
And
you
I was
go.
just like, oh, we lost
Yeah.
this too. Damn.
No, it's because I sent that one to Squaresoft, and then we made it through. And I remember like doing that, playing it, and getting through this stupid little scene. And like seconds later, I was just like, should just rented it instead of going through all that. It was just like, oh man.